Most self-help tells you to want more, be more, achieve more. This book says the opposite, and it sold 15 million copies doing it. It's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Damn by Mark Manson. The point isn't caring about nothing. It's refusing to waste yourself on what doesn't matter, so you have something left for what does. I read it twice. First time it pissed me off. Second time, it changed how I live. Next 10 minutes, the whole philosophy. Let's go.
Here's a thought that sounds insane until you really sit with it. The desire for more positive experience is itself a negative experience, and accepting your negative experience is itself a positive one. Let me tell you about Charles Bukowski. For 30 years, he was a failed writer, a drunk, a gambler, rejected by every publisher. He worked a dead-end job at the post office and drank himself to sleep on the floor. At 50, he finally got published. He sold millions of books, but here's what's strange: his tombstone reads 2 words, "Don't try," because his genius wasn't fighting to become a winner. It was accepting honestly that he was a mess. That's the heart of this book. I'm breaking down The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Damn by Mark Manson, the most counterintuitive self-help book ever written. Let's go. First, let's clear up what not giving a damn actually means. It does not mean being indifferent. It does not mean not caring about anything. It means caring about something more important than the discomfort. The person who doesn't care about getting it wrong is the one free enough to do something great. And here's the key: you have a limited number of things you can truly care about in life. A limited budget. Spend it on everything and you'll waste it on traffic jams and rude waiters and what strangers think of you. The real skill is choosing. Reserve your energy for what's true, what's immediate, what actually matters. Everything else, let it go. Manson describes something he calls the feedback loop from hell, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. You get anxious, then you notice you're anxious, and that makes you anxious about being anxious. You get angry, then angry at yourself for being angry. The reaction to the problem becomes a bigger problem than the problem itself. We've become a generation that feels bad about feeling bad, guilty about feeling guilty. The pressure to be happy all the time is making everyone miserable. The escape is to stop caring so much about the small stuff, so you have room to feel what you feel without spiraling about it. Now the central idea, what Manson calls the backwards law, borrowed from the philosopher Alan Watts. The more you pursue feeling good all the time, the less satisfied you become, because chasing something reminds you that you don't have it. Wanting more is itself a sign of lack. Think about it: a truly confident person doesn't need to prove they're confident. A genuinely rich person doesn't need to convince anyone. As they say in Texas, the smallest dog barks the loudest. This is why self-help often backfires. It fixates on what you lack. Telling yourself you're beautiful in the mirror just reminds you that you don't believe it. So the solution is backwards. Don't try to feel more positive. Accept the negative, the pain, the failure, the uncertainty. The moment you stop running from it, it loses its power. Here's a truth nobody wants to hear: happiness is not a problem to be solved by getting everything you want. Happiness comes from solving problems. The key word is solving, not avoiding them, not pretending they don't exist. Happiness is the action of moving through a problem you actually care about. And here's the catch: problems never stop. Solve one, a better one takes its place. You don't get a problem-free life, you just get to trade your current problems for better ones. This is why rich, successful people are often still miserable. They didn't get rid of their problems, they just traded them for fancier ones they're no better at handling. There are 2 ways people avoid their problems, and both fail: denial, pretending the problem isn't real, and the victim mentality, blaming everyone else so you never have to act. Both feel good for a moment, both keep you stuck forever because the problem is still there, waiting. So here's a tool Manson swears by, the do something principle. We think motivation works like this: inspiration, then motivation, then action. But it's actually a loop. Action creates inspiration, which creates more motivation, which creates more action. So you don't wait to feel ready, you do something, anything, and the motivation follows. Now the hard part? Pain is not a bug in the system. Pain is the system working. Your emotions are feedback, signals telling you something needs attention. Numb the pain and you go blind to the lesson. Let's talk about a disease infecting modern culture: entitlement. The belief that you deserve good things without earning them. And it comes in two flavors. 1, I'm amazing, everyone else is the problem. 2, I'm worthless, so the world owes me sympathy. Both are the same lie that you're somehow special, exempt from the normal rules. Here's the freeing truth: you are not special. The odds that you'll be extraordinary at anything are tiny. And that's okay. Accepting your own ordinariness is what frees you to actually live. Our culture sells the opposite: be exceptional, be the best. But if everyone has to be extraordinary, then by definition, almost everyone fails the test and feels like garbage for being normal. The healthiest thing you can do is measure yourself by better questions. Not am I the best, but am I being honest? Am I helping? Am I growing? Now the most important question in the entire book, and it's not the one you think. Everyone asks, what do I want from life? Everyone wants the great body, the great career, the great relationship. That question is useless because everyone wants those things. The real question is this: what pain are you willing to sustain? Because every reward comes with a struggle, and you don't get to choose the reward without choosing the struggle that comes with it. You want the great body? The real question is, do you enjoy the gym, the soreness, the discipline? You want the business? Do you enjoy the risk, the uncertainty, the long, unglamorous hours? Everybody wants the prize. Few are willing to want the process. And it's the process, the pain you're willing to endure, that actually determines your life. Manson is brutally honest about himself here. For years, he wanted to be a rock star. But he didn't actually want to haul gear, practice for hours, and play empty bars. He wanted the reward, not the work, so it was never going to happen. Choose your struggle, that's it. Find the pain you can fall in love with, and the rewards take care of themselves. This connects to the deepest idea in the book, responsibility. And Manson draws a line most people never see. There's a difference between fault and responsibility. Fault is about the past, whose fault it was that something bad happened. Responsibility is about the present, who chooses what to do about it now. You are not at fault for everything that happens to you, but you are responsible for how you respond to all of it. Always, that's not a burden, that's your power. The victim mentality gives that power away. It says, someone else has to fix this. And the moment you say that, you're stuck waiting for a rescue that's never coming. Imagine someone leaves a baby on your doorstep, not your fault, but now it's your responsibility. Most of life's hardest moments are exactly like that: not your fault, fully your responsibility. The more you take responsibility, even for the unfair things, the more power you have over your own life. Blame feels good and changes nothing. Responsibility feels heavy and changes everything. Here's another uncomfortable idea. Certainty is the enemy of growth. The more certain you are that you're right, the more you stop learning. Manson calls it the law of avoidance. The more something threatens your identity, your sense of who you are, the harder you'll run from it. We protect our self-image instead of improving ourselves. So the goal isn't to be more certain, it's to be a little less certain, to hold your beliefs a little more loosely, to leave room to be wrong. Try this mindset on: I'm probably wrong about something important right now, I just don't know what yet. That's not weakness, that's the doorway to growth. Because growth requires being wrong. You can't learn anything new while defending what you already believe. Every breakthrough starts with admitting the old answer failed. And the less you tie your identity to being right, smart, or special, the freer you are to change, to grow, and to become something more than you are. In fact, the narrower your identity, the more fragile you become. Define yourself by fewer rigid labels and almost nothing can threaten you. That is real freedom. Which brings us to the end. Literally, the last idea in the book is death. Manson argues that confronting your own mortality is the most clarifying thing you can do. Because when you remember you're going to die, all the petty things you give a damn about suddenly shrink to their true size. Death strips away the noise, the grudges, the status games, the fear of looking stupid. None of it survives contact with the question, what actually matters before my time runs out? So care less about almost everything, and care deeply about the few things that are true. That's the entire art. If this changed how you think about what to care about, subscribe, because next week I break down another book that will rewire how you see your life. And in the comments, tell me one thing you're going to stop giving your energy to. See you in the next one.